coming down, the sun coming down, a little light here and well, we are making progress. As you can see, we're not lined up anymore. Okay, sorry about that, but I ran out of juice. My phone decided it was going to have more stuff in it than what it should have. Used up all the memory and my camera shut off. So here we are, back to this again. Well, that worked real well. Got nothing to stop it. So I need to put this down here. Maybe I can find a pipe or something to put on the end. Make it a little longer. Maybe a socket. Yeah. Put a socket on the end of her. That ought to give it the length. Oh yeah, much better. Oh. Another squirt. What am I moving over there? Oh. And I did pick up my other pulley. Nice and shiny new. But guess what? To prevent having to do this again, right about in here somewhere on each side, hopefully you can see it. Okay, let's get down here. Right about here on each side, so hopefully it'll balance. Drill a couple of holes so I can get the bolts out without having to do all this. It's like, ooh, I'm bleeding. Yay. Well, that's normal. I don't think I've ever worked on a vehicle yet that hadn't made me bleed. And of course my socket falls off. Well, I can see what's wrong with that. Socket. Well, that ain't gonna work. What do we got? What do we got? That's the same height. But well, we'll find out. Okay. I'm afraid this thing's going to come apart. It's only got the one bolt. But we are about right here. So we're about halfway. Anyway, this is boring, so I'm gonna get it finished and then I'll come back. Got it! Finally. Oh, but as you can see, it was destroyed. That's why I bought the new one. Yeah. I gotta figure out why it's pushing against itself. About to lose my tools here. Just trying to take the puller off of it now. There we go. Doesn't look like I hurt the puller any. I think I did mushroom that though. No, you just gotta unscrew it before you can get that thing off of. Yeah. It even ruined that edge there. Tried to pull off of it. There goes my sunglasses. But yeah, she ain't in the best of shape, so it's gonna get replaced. A little crusty in there. Down in the hole. You see that flake right there? Oh well. It's the end of that one. Alright. Box that back up. Throw that over there. Come on, let go. Something I never do is put my tools away, so I'm trying to get in that habit. Because everything's miscombobulated, disorganized, and that ain't going to come out that way. It's all mushroomed right here, so it ain't going to come out that way, so I got to push it all the way through. I had to put it in that way too. Alright. That should go like that. That should go in there. And evidently there's something here that I'm missing. I'll have to figure out what it is. Make sure it ain't in here somewhere. I don't see nothing. Enough of that. Alright. We get a 1/2-inch socket and ratchet, and I'll be right back. Alright, looks like we have 3, 4. One down here holding the hoses. One here, and one here. Not getting a good hold on that one. That one was easy to break. There we go. Little tiny one. You don't want to come out. Yep, we'll just put it down there. What am I? Easy peasy. Little difficult by finger, but doable. Ta-da. Put that where I can forget it later. That one I think is going to have to be quarter-inch drive with a short socket. So we can go in the right direction. Engineers, I hate them. Have to go to 9/16, I believe. If I have one. Well, I must have used my 3/8 ratchet somewhere else. I can't find a quarter-inch drive 9/16, so see if I can get this on there. Ooh, nice fit. And it comes loose. Set up. Can I get this one on there? Oh yeah. Come on, you can get in there. should be able to get that out of the way too. Okay. Oh, is out. Now, should be able to pull this out and up. Ta-da. Finally. Okay. Now, all right, we're gonna have to lube juice all the exhaust if you can. Hopefully we don't break any. All right, and we'll come back in about an hour. Oh, I almost forgot. As long as I'm here, where are we at? The water pump that we couldn't get to. What size are you? Anybody remember what size that was? I don't. That's a 9/16. This is 1/2 inch. That one. Maybe if we had the right socket, we might be able to get it on there. What do you think? Well, what the water pump would let us in there. There it goes. There it went. We didn't need that anyway. There we go. Socket. All right, now we'll be back in about an hour. All right, well, I already got the exhaust bolts out. They came out pretty easy. And now it's time to get these rockers off. I could have swore I had the right size there. 9/16. The other 9/16 fit on it, didn't it? Is that 15 millimeter? Well, what in the world? 16? There we go. Now I didn't get this exhaust off yet because I ain't even sure I want to pull that head. It's running fine. I don't see any reason to pull it and change the gasket. Out of the way. Put that back on there. Oh, I gotta make a thing for the thing. For the lifting rods. I gotta make a holder and keep them in order. Alright. Now I got holes punched in there. The old trusty leather punch. And I got that. But I want to wait a minute. I don't want to take these out. Alright, so I'm going to set these in here. Put these back on. Probably have to take them back off to get to that bolt. Just keep doing that. And I gotta remember there's a ground strap back here. Yeah, it's got a bolt back here, back of the head. Or I could disconnect it here. That'd probably be easier. You know what? I can do this a lot faster. Much faster. I can get to the last one. Running into stuff. Oh yeah. Ta-da! Thank you very much. Come on, get in there. Support. Okay. Now we move these out of the way. And what size are the head bolts? Might be the same size. Yep. Nope, we can get those two with us. Back to the ratchet. And of course, throttle cable right in the way. That son of a gun was tight. Where you at? Down there. Okay. Gotcha. Alright, don't make me bleed to do that enough. Ta-da. Enough on that. Getting a little slick, full of oil. You gotta fall out. Wipe off the socket. Start plugging. I should have made a thing for these too. That one wants to tight just a little. There we go. So the center one is longer. So the short one is only on the end so far, down here. All the rest of them look the same. That one might be shorter. Nope. She's definitely covered in oil. Okay. One more little tiny bolt. Looks like 10 mil maybe. I don't see my 10 millimeter socket up here. No. That's a lot easier than trying to reach back behind the head. Oop, there's the washer. Come with the head. Is it free? They give you a pry area. Pry it up. That's another question. Where is mine? Alright. Had a chisel. What do I do with it? Looks like it's going down. That tray. That tray. And that box. Alright, y'all see my chisel? Alright, let me find a way to loosen that up and I'll be right back. Heh, 2 seconds after I shut off the camera. I found it. Well, that ain't gonna work. There's that. Well, how about if we just do something like this? Did I miss any bolts? I don't see any bolts. Okay. Might take some persuasion, maybe. Well, I don't want to tap any harder than that. And of course, dropping things. And more things. I have no idea where it went or what it was. Socket, evidently. Alright, I shall return. Well, I found a little pry bar. We're going to try that. Hopefully don't smash anything in there. If I can get it to fit. Alright, let's mess everything up. What is holding that thing on there? Come here. You tell me if you see any bolts in here. Let me get the cable out of the way here. That one's out. Have to flip you over. Out. There's a washer from the electrical. That one's out. That one's out. None there. None there. That one's out. There's nothing holding it except sheer stubbornness. Trying to put you back in the tripod. And it don't want to cooperate. Well, let me see if I can get a shorter, smaller board. Maybe something a little thicker. That ain't gonna work. That's too tall. I'll be back. Alright, here's my thoughts. The valves are closed. The cylinder, I seen a guy, he filled up, it was an old flathead, so he used string. But he filled up the cylinder with the string. And then they cranked the engine over and it popped the head loose. I'm going to use the same principle but with hydrolocking. I'm going to fill it with a liquid, probably water. Yeah, I'm going to change the oil and everything else afterwards. Put the spark plug back in it. And then crank over the motor by a wrench and see if it can't pop it. Alright, I shall return. Scratch that. I found them. I found them. Look. Right there. Right there. See him? Hiding on me. So, I guess I'll have to can I show you? Okay, right there. From underneath, I'll have to disconnect that exhaust so I get this manifold out of the way to get to them bottom bolt heads. Head bolts. Alright, we shall return. Well, the drive shaft was in the way of two of them bolts. And the pipe is bent over to where I can't get on the other bolt. So, I just cut it with a Sawzall. Got the head off. There it is. I don't see where it was leaking through the head gasket. These ripped off when I took the head off. Maybe there. I don't remember that being there. The cylinder walk looks really good. I rubbed my fingers in there, didn't feel anything. These are the other ones. Motor turns over nice and easy. So now we're going to see if we can get that line off of there. Figure out, I guess it goes way back there. Wow. Okay. So we're going to replace that. Get that all cleaned up. Get that all cleaned up. Maybe start putting them back together. We got to clean that too. Alright. I have to run to the store and get some cleaner. I gotta just pressure wipe several cans of brake clean. Alright, now we're working on the old green bomber. She's got a bad hose. That end fell off the other day. The engine didn't want to run. Brakes didn't want to work. It was fun. So, I went to the auto parts store. They said nobody's been able to get any brake line for a while, or vacuum line for a while. Alright. Well, and I hate these clamps. Engineers. Again. There we go. Yeah. So my solution, airline. Just fish this over there. I have to cut some off. Won't be. But it would be nice if it would go where I want it to, instead of catching on everything. And there we go. Much better. And it looks like it's the right size. We get a real hose clamp. And I'll be right back. Well, I can't find a clamp. Unfortunately, it's either uses the new original or none at all. But at least now I can get a hold of it with these and they won't spin out of control as much. And that's not going to clamp on there. Okay. Push it. Oh, nice tight fit. Don't think it needs a clamp. Okay. I think it might be in the way right there. Be right back. Alright, we got me a sharp pointy thing. And we're gonna have to come around about there. And of course, right in the way. Ta-da. Get rid of that. Save that for another project. I'll see if we can get this clamp off of here. I hate it when they spin on you like that. Alright, I gotta move you. You'll probably be able to get a better shot down here anyway. Can't tell if you can see or not. Right here. Maybe there. There we go. That son of a gun was so stiff it didn't want to go back on. So I drilled out the hose. But as you can see, it wasn't going to last very long. So now, hopefully, we'll hook this back up. Oh yeah. Wait, let's see what I'm doing. All the way on. Like that. Now, do I need to get it up off the intake. I think it probably will. Let me find some zip ties and I'll get that taken care of. And then I'm going to go for a test drive. So you'll probably join me on the test drive. Cold start. Let her warm up a bit. Let's see if I can extend that out. Put it up there for you. You can see what's going on. It doesn't want to spin. And you're sagging. Nope. There we go. Takes some time. A little tricky to get her into first or reverse sometimes. I don't have a way to protect you from the sun, so when I go around the block here, the rattle wagon. Brakes are a lot touchier. They were hard as a rock. Yeah, that's what I thought. Washing you out. Sunlight's getting down. And we shall return. Well, dollar store didn't have any, so I gotta get a refill anyway. Let's try the gas station. Doesn't that starter just sound lovely? Bad thing about the sun, you can't see nothing. Now you got people walking in my way. Little doggy. Well, they didn't have brake cleaner, but they had this. About $4.50 a can, so that ain't too bad. $1.50 cheaper than what the dollar store was. Let's go home. Traffic. And he's gonna go to how's it going? up there, I don't know if you can see the water towers or not, or even the antennas. You can see that road right there. Goes up. That goes to where I work. Green Bomber. Alright, well, let's go back home. A little better dash shot. Sure I don't back over the edge. It's ways back there, so no worries. Beautiful country. Just in the valley. Up on the plains is just flat. Rolling hills. No brakes, just the clutch and the engine slowing us down. That's brakes. That airline's working pretty good. Fishing for a cure. You really want to fish for a cure? Go find out what makes your body pH balanced into alkaline. You get to be alkaline, you won't have cancer. It can't live in an alkaline environment. You can use also dandelion root tea. Ivermectin helps. And that's as far as I know. But definitely get your pH balance to alkaline.